face of every natural disaster, questions are always raised over the government's response in countering the effects of tragedy. Once again, with rain playing havoc in different parts of the country due to rain-induced disasters since last week, questions have been raised over the government mechanism to deal with the crisis, as there have been reports of lack of life-saving medicines in many rain-affected areas across the country. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Reckless spending of the budget under disaster management reported. Lack of pure drinking water and medicines in rain-affected areas. Government says ample relief materials sent to worst-hit areas. The ruling Nepal Communist Party in a last-ditch effort to complete integration process. The leadership expedites process to complete integration by today itself. European Union's foreign policy chief Federica Mogherini says Iran's recent breaches of the 2015 nuclear deal are not significant and can be reversed. And despite only 4 months remaining before the South Asian Games to be held in Nepal, training grounds for 20 out of 27 disciplines still not decided. The government had allocated 5.5 billion rupees for disaster management for the ongoing fiscal year. However, in the series of landslides and floods in many parts of the country since last week, there seems to be lack of coordination between the concerned authorities in terms of rescue and distribution of relief materials for the victims. The lack of coordination has resulted in the misuse of a large chunk of the budget, while the victims have yet to receive any relief. Likewise, the budget allocated for minimizing the damages caused by natural disasters beforehand has not been used either. The center's disaster management fund also has 2 billion rupees. However, due to the lack of coordination unit, the government allocated budget and the fund has been spent in a haphazard way through the committees for disaster management at the center, province, district and local levels. The mechanism to rescue victims and distribute relief materials has been ineffective, while the plans for preparing to minimize the risks of disasters has been limited to papers. This has resulted in huge loss of lives and property, as seen by scores of casualties this monsoon season so far. Based on the Nepal's Disaster Risk and Management Act, that came into effect almost 2 years ago, the government should form an authority that will look after all the works related to disaster management. However, instead of forming the authority and the mechanism, the government has continued with its trend of expecting relief programs from non-governmental organizations. Meanwhile, many non-governmental organizations have taken recent rain-induced disasters as an opportunity to generate income. There is a general call for the government to form a coordination mechanism at the earliest to avoid the misuse of the budget, to carry out relief and rescue efforts effectively, and to minimize disaster risks. With the onset of the monsoon season and cases of floods and landslides that has so far claimed over 60 lives, there has been a growing demand for emergency materials, including pure drinking water, medicines, tents, food, among others. Floods and landslides triggered by last week's incessant rainfall has damaged water supply systems in several places, causing scarcity of pure drinking water. Drinking water sources in hilly regions have been damaged due to the landslides as well. Medical experts say the lack of proper drinking water in disaster-hit places could invite diarrhea and cholera epidemic, among other transmittable diseases. In order to avoid such outbreaks, the Department of Health Services, in coordination with the provincial and local levels, has deployed human resources at the affected regions to facilitate purification and distribution of drinking water among the public. Authorities have urged the public in the Tarai region to take caution while drinking water from hand pumps, as there are high chances the floods have contaminated underground water. The government has said the health ministry has sent 36 different medicines along with doctors to control the potential outbreaks. The ministry has claimed there are no such epidemic recorded so far in the affected districts, and that it is well prepared to minimize the potential risks. However, on account of past precedents where those in authority have taken advantage of these relief medicines, there is a need for an effective distribution mechanism to ensure that the medicines reach the real beneficiaries. The ruling Nepal Communist Party has inched closer to assigning responsibilities to its leaders and members. Nepal Communist Party Chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal, General Secretary Vishnu Paudel and Secretariat member Ram Bahadur Thapa held discussions all day yesterday in their bid to finalize the power sharing process. According to Party General Secretary Vishnu Paudel, the leadership will finalize its decision and assign responsibilities through a party secretariat meeting today. Paudel also said the proposal for the assignment of responsibilities that was on hold for 14 months now will be approved through the party secretariat meeting today and made public. Based on the agreement struck between the party's leadership, cadres who had executed the responsibilities as in charge for the former CPN-UML and CPN-Mao Center in the party's district committee will be appointed as in charge and deputy in charge in the new structure. Based on the agreement, current ministers from the ruling party, members of the provincial assembly, mayors and chairmen of rural municipalities will have an added role to play. Majority of the party leaders have been without responsibilities due to the leadership's failure to complete the power sharing process. Meanwhile, Paudel clarified that the meeting did not touch the issue of the Prime Minister's intention of reshuffling the cabinet as discussed earlier and accordingly reported in the media. Welcome back. Chairman and Managing Director of Kantipur Media Group, Kailash Shiroya, has stated that he is ready to face any challenges for the dissemination of fair and unbiased news. Speaking at a program held yesterday to celebrate the 16th anniversary of Kantipur Television, Chairman Shiroya said that the media shouldn't stop from disseminating factual news at a time when the government has been attacking the media, making various excuses. Chairman Shiroya further went on to say that the Media Council bill, which was tabled by the government earlier, was more authoritative than in the Panchayat era. 7 employees of Kantipur Television were felicitated at the anniversary program yesterday. The Excellence Journalist Awards were handed to Yuvraj Acharya from the News Department and Jay Pandey, a district correspondent. Likewise, Chiranjeevi Paudel from News Production, cameraman Binod Koju, Engineering Department's Rajan Tamang, Ganesh Karki from the Administration Department and Pratibha Sharma from the Corporate and Marketing Department also received awards at the function yesterday. Welcome back. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals in the Eastern District of Parbat, why have the ministries failed to coordinate with each other for development works? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
आपसमा छलफल गर्ने समस्याहरू के छन् त्यसलाई चाहिँ समाधान गर्ने पक्षमा जाने र चाहिँ आम पब्लिकहरुको चाहिँ चाहना के छ त्यो कुरालाई चाहिँ सम्बोधन गर्ने कुरातिर चाहिँ लाग्नुपर्छ र एकलौटी पाराले गरिएका कुराहरू राम्रो हुँदैन।
महिना मिटिङ बसेर सरसल्लाह गरेर मैले यो यहाँ विकासको काम गरेको छु अब मैले यहाँ गरेको छु भने सबैले चाहिँ भन्नु पर्यो।
यो र उ नभन्ने सत्तापक्ष र प्रतिपक्ष पनि नभन्ने राम्रो कामलाई राम्रो दृष्टिकोणले हेर्ने बानी बस्यो भने यी सबै क्षेत्रमा राम्रो हुन्छ।
सबैलाई पारदर्शी हुने किसिमले अगाडि बढायो भने आफूले गरेको चाहिँ मात्रै पहुँच बढाउनु भन्दा सबैसँग सम्बन्ध स्थापित गरेर अगाडि बढ्यो भने ठिक होला।
And it's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
The 13th South Asian Games, which will be held from 1st to 10th of December, is being hosted by Nepal. As there is less than 5 months remaining for the sports event to begin, all the participating Nepalese players should have been in closed camps by now. However, there are no training grounds for 20 out of the 27 games, while there are not enough training equipments for 23 games. Although the Nepalese players are aiming to win gold medals by taking advantage of the home field advantage, they are weak in infrastructure and preparations. The government held a meeting with the associations of all the 27 games at the office of the National Sports Council at Saddobato, Lalitpur yesterday to discuss about the preparations. At the meeting, issues regarding the progress in preparations, selection of players, expectation of gold medals, among other issues were raised. However, complaints of lack of training grounds for majority of the games were raised at the meeting. A majority of the infrastructures for the sports event are still under construction, and the completed ones have still not been handed over. And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. What's your take on lack of preparations for the South Asian Games scheduled to take place in Nepal in 5 months' time? Your options are A, height of irresponsibility, B, not in the priority, and C, lack of competence. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good morning.